Okay, let's get started. Hey, class. If you've noticed, we have a guest today, the president of the university. And thanks for coming. Sure. Really, thanks for coming. It's President Barron has been to class before, and I thought it would be a nice idea for him to come back, in particular, to have one particular conversation, actually two interrelated conversations. And the first thing we want to talk about is hazing in the Penn State community. Because you know how in 119 we don't shy away from difficult and controversial topics. And the second is about globalization and global opportunities for students. So anyway, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Wonderful to be here.
So I wrote down a few questions just to get us started. And the first is, are we ready? Good. What awareness are you holding about the issue of hazing that's unique to your role as our university president?
Okay, that is an interesting question, the uniqueness of it. I would say, and I don't know whether it's unique, but widespread across a lot of different types of organizations. I think many people look at it as Greek life. It actually extends to a far larger number of organizations. A second part of it is that we're seeing riskier and riskier behavior. Almost as if, this very somewhat slow process of here's what happened to me, and now I got to have that a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger. And so we're seeing across many, many institutions more severity. And I don't think that it's awareness. I don't think it's anything else. I think we're just seeing in universities across the country the behavior is getting riskier, and it's everywhere.
And you're hearing this from other university presidents?
Absolutely.
Across the spectrum, not just big public schools?
Small college, big college, private, public, it doesn't matter. Same thing. And many, many people will tell me we don't have a culture like that. I don't think it's true. I just don't think it's true.
Yeah, that would be my experience as well when I talk to colleagues who say they don't really have a culture like that. And then I start asking them questions that would kind of break down or operationalize that culture. And it seems that, in fact, they come to the realization that they do.
Yeah. One of the other things where perhaps students in an individual group might sense it but might not realize how universal it is, it's that a student group might be more cautious, but an alum comes in and pressures them that this isn't good enough. You aren't doing this as well as you should be doing, and so they add to it and exacerbate the problem. And this too seems to be crossing a broad spectrum of universities and places and institutions.
So, in other words, the alums are saying to the students, you're not doing a good enough job of running people through the gauntlet, i.e. hazing.
Exactly.
You need to ramp it up.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a wisdom that that you take away a charter, say, of an organization for at least 4 years is preferred, maybe 5, with the idea that everybody involved will have graduated. So anyone that's experienced a certain behavior, they'll be gone. But the interesting and see what that same experience is like.
So the alumni come back in and just sort of start it up again, right where it was left off.
Yeah, it can.
This is and are they? And when you say, I'm reading this as well, right? So, but really, the question I would have is, so how widespread is that with alumni? And in my experience, of course, of alumni is when I talk to people, when I travel and I talk to people who graduated Penn State, the stories they tell about partying are quite amazing to me, actually. And it's the one thing that they all talk about and reminisce about fondly.
Yeah, it is interesting. There is sort of an age differential there because as you probably know, I spend a lot of the time on the road with alumni raising money. And I've had many, many what I would call senior alumni who are in they've created their wealth and now they're giving it away. So you can imagine this is often a tier of people that are a little bit more senior. And they're actually quite upset that we would be creating new rules for fraternities and sororities. And they'll tell you so. And then you will engage them in a conversation and they will say, well, I had two socials. We didn't have a problem at our two socials. And they'll say, every night we sat down at the dining room table and had dinner together. And then as the conversation goes on, they start to realize that it's not the same. Something has changed rather fundamentally there. And as soon as they will hear about some of the issues in behavior, they actually react very strongly that somebody is ruining their house.
So their idea is that what we're doing is we're putting rules on the organizations that are not allowing them to, for example, sit down and have dinner together at night and share a beer or something.
Yes, that's
and
right.
that's not what's going on. So back to your, so that's another piece of being the president.
Yeah,
and
you see an age evolution here. You do.
Yeah, and I try not to be that person my age who says when I was young or the kids today or and I know you don't either, but there are some times when you have to say it. It applies. So, the other piece about kind of loco parentis, right? How does that play into this? It just kind of comes to mind.
Okay, so it's really quite a fascinating topic if you think about the details. First of all, the federal government says you're all adults by coming here, and we must treat you like an adult. And that is our intention to treat you like an adult. So an example of this is I cannot share your grades with your parents. Okay? That's fascinating. On the other hand, the state tells us that if you're 17 and you come in the door, you're a minor and you have to be treated like a minor, and many of the behavioral things are as if you're a minor, and they have all sorts of other different types of recording requirements. Many parents assume that we are the new parent and that we will police all of your behavior and make sure that you act appropriately. Many times in the media, they think we're your parent. And so it is actually a very confused place to be. So a Greek house here is on private property with a private board, and all they have is recognition from us. And yet everything you would read in the paper suggests that we're responsible for your behavior. So this is a very confused landscape, and people don't understand it.
Okay. And do you under the idea of loco parentis, do you understand, like parents in place, right? The degree to which Penn State would I as an instructor would take responsibility for you. Your parents aren't here, and there is a way in which, we sometimes get charged with that in lots of different and complex ways, as you're saying.
Yep, complex ways.
So this is kind of a similar question, but sometimes I ask the same question, but it provokes something different in you. And so as I look out at this room full of undergraduate students, what do you see about this issue of hazing that they don't or can't see? Is there something? And again, you've sort of answered this, but I want to just ask it to see if anything else jumps up.
Yeah, this has been going on for decades in all kinds of organizations for which there's a kind of membership. So on the one hand, there must be something deeply psychological about it, or sociological about it, maybe that is interesting to be a part of a group, you feel like you must somehow demonstrate this. But this notion of having it, okay, so I'm going to give you 2 examples of hazing that occurred at Penn State. So one of them, a house now disbanded, they covered the basement floor with sewage, in addition to getting intoxicated, and then bottle caps, and the young men had to walk on their legs and arms. Would have never been known except for the fact that the bottle caps made indentations on everyone's arms, and the sewage then went into open cuts, and person after person started to show up with infections that had to be treated by a doctor, for which the community then realized that something was going on and there was something in common with all of these people. So I just went through that. You have to do something to belong and demonstrate that I really want you as my brother. But I just can't even fathom that type of activity. And my suspicion is that many people don't realize this. And of course, we have the Tim Piazza case right now with an enormous amount of alcohol consumption. And then even as part of a hazing ritual, and then even a fear to report it because they thought they might lose the house, and this young man dies. And this is being repeated nationally over and over again in different places. So from perspective, I get to hear all the bad things. I have to work harder to hear the good things. But from my perspective, that type of activity is really difficult to fathom why I wouldn't walk away. Why I wouldn't walk away if somebody wants what appears to be literally doing me harm. But at any rate, and you, unfortunately, most people don't see it all, but I get to have people tell me about the behavior over and over and over again. And then you start to feel like it's an epidemic.
Yeah. Well, I hear it as well. So, the back channels and some of the things some things are kind of funny, right? I mean, there's a certain hazing that's kind of, okay. I mean, I kind of snicker to myself, I don't think I would have done it, but maybe I would have. But that's not, and in a certain sense, and then of course anything that I would snicker to myself is not really hazing. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. So one of the things that everybody has to be socialized into a group.
Yeah.
And that's just part of it. You learn the rules, you learn the regulations, you learn how to get on, you learn how to move forward. And then, we have kind of, I had this way of thinking about this. That's sort of the informal way of bringing people into a group. And then we have initiations, which is the formal way of bringing people in.
Yeah.
Right? But then you have hazing, and hazing is like the extreme example of the formal initiation. And the problem here at a place like a university is we leave that extreme example, which is often a very unhealthy example, up to young 20-year-olds. And what you're saying is they don't have the ability to make rational and sane decisions, and of course you don't when you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
And so when we leave it up to 20-year-olds, they don't have a sort of a rational assessment of what's going on, and then groupthink kicks in, and groupthink would allow us to do things that we would never do otherwise, and we all like to think that we would not do that. I can stand before all of you and say, well, had I been part of a hazing process, I would have said no. And had I been part of this, I would say no. Had I been part of that, I would say no. But the reality is some very strong thinkers and very rational people don't say no. And that's the power of groupthink.
It is. So one of the 15 things that we've done is really designed to get at this. And it was the topic we received the most resistance about. So basically, the idea here is don't allow people to do this in the first couple of weeks or even the first semester. Because if you have come into a place that's strange, like Penn State, and you immediately are trying to be a part of a group, and they become everything and anything you know about Penn State in terms of your social interaction, you may feel very uncomfortable about the idea of stepping away and starting over. Because if you look at where people develop relationships, they start with the freshman residence hall. And we even see that retention and sense of community and satisfaction is higher if you're in a freshman residence hall than if you live off campus. So we know there's a value there of developing friendships that's the beginning.
And building bonds.
And those bonds that support you. And you also start to see what other things you might be interested in because you discover somebody else is interested in rugby and you're interested in rugby and you join the rugby club or whatever it is. So one of the things that we did was to delay this to the spring semester with the idea that then you had the freshman experience and you had developed other strong relationships with other students and you had explored a range of interests. And then if you're walking into a Greek organization or some other organization, you have a certain amount of freedom and power over yourself because you know you have other things that you're interested in and other friends that you've developed bonds with. And so we think this sort of empowers someone more that if something bad is happening to leave. Now, interestingly, the biggest pushback we got for this was that we would affect the finances of different groups. Because if we delay, then what's happened here is that juniors and seniors don't live in these houses. They want to be in an apartment. They don't want to be in a space that is only parties and there's no furniture in the downstairs part of the building. So they go take an apartment. And they're counting on the sophomores to occupy the house and pay the mortgage and have this environment to be able to have everybody else come back into. And so they really felt threatened on the financial model. We wanted to delay it a whole year. But right now you have a credit requirement before you can rush and pledge. And we're hearing positive responses to it. We did it one semester to try not to affect the financial standing of especially a smaller house. And many of them will say, well, that's not me. We don't do that. Why are you punishing all of us because of that? And it becomes a challenge too. So we don't want to put into financial distress a house that might be model citizens.
You know, at the same time, though, you say many people say it's not me. And I want to say this to the class, right? But when you're on the inside, and you know how often it is that there's, say, like a dry week or a dry 2 weeks, and you're not allowed to have any parties, and 12 or 14 houses are having parties, and they even know they're going to be monitored. It's like, it would be like walking down the street in front of a police station smoking a joint. I mean, that's not where you want to do it. And even though you know that, you still do it. And so when you say that, it's like, yes, so some people say, well, it's not me. But you know what? Very often you're lying. It is you. You're just not seeing that it's you. You're not willing to take responsibility for that. And
a number of people have told me you play the odds. The monitor came. There are people posted all over the place. They have walkie-talkies. The monitors are here. The monitor left. The odds are they won't be back.
Yep.
So it's
the other side of this that I think is a little bit troubling. This gets us over to the second topic that I want to mention. When you have social organizations that the entire reason to exist is to build social bonds, there's nothing there's not a lot that unites people other than to be social. And in this world in which we're living, too oftentimes, and especially when it's fraternities, because of what I'm about to say, what is it that people link to, that bonds people together? Alcohol and sex. And it's like, why do you have to have alcohol? Why can't you just bond together? Why can't you have a party without alcohol? Just get together and dance. But that's not what happens. And so now you bring these things together, and those are the same people who are going to create the rules of hazing. It's just a really, really bad mix. And I say that not as someone who is against fraternities by any stretch of the imagination. It is someone who is a sociologist. And I see what's going on. It's like, why would I want to do that? Like, it makes no sense. I would never create a system like that. But so here this goes to the second piece. So you have all these social organizations, and what I see a lot is this Balkanization. So the freshmen come in, and and if they go out into the social group, where are they going to go? They're going to find people who are like them. They're going to find people like their communities back home, their friends back home, which means that they're going to speak the same language, they'll be of the same ancestry group, like the same things, have the same hobbies. And then we have all these international students coming in, or students coming in from different areas of different ancestries, and they Balkanize. So everybody's Balkanized. And what's happening is we're missing out on these tremendous opportunities to create this global environment where if you look in this class and we see people from all over the world, and you come in here and you make friendships and you connect, and we have 4 years that you may never have an opportunity to spend as much time around people who are very different from you as you do here at Penn State, and we're not taking advantage of it. Thoughts on this global education, like those missed opportunities?
Okay, so I think it's far worse than you just described, and I would add to it because I go home on my home computer and I know what my wife has been shopping for. I go and decide maybe I'd like to have a boat, and I have endless boats popping up there. I sit there and have a news feed, and I click on different articles, and then I am flooded with like articles. I think we have a whole system in a lot of ways that's conspiring to put people that are like-minded in the same room, in the same thought process, reading the same things, talking to people with the same ideas. And it is a worry. You have to wonder in this country, the struggles we're going through, if it's not a part of this whole part of the system. And I sit there and I'll see over and over again, do I want to go to Penn State? I'm not sure you have as many people that look like me to make me feel comfortable. And so you are actually even attracting a student there that is looking for people that they feel comfortable with. Yet, today we had a kind of celebration of study abroad, and the whole discussion, part of the whole discussion was putting people outside their comfort zone and experiencing things that are not what they're used to, and how profound the impact is, and how people tell you it's transformative. And if I hear two people that are very different and they share a residence hall room together, they talk about it being one of the most profound experiences that they could imagine in college. And yet the whole system seems to conspire that I'm only going to look for people just like me. I just described the problem. I wish I knew the solution.
Like, Jeff, you're from where is he from? Mauritania? Mauritius, right? Isn't that it? So where are you going to meet somebody from Mauritius, and then become friends with them, and then have the opportunity to travel back with him, meet his family, and this sort of thing. I think that. So when I think about these global, I'm saying something. This is the place where I feel like I'm preaching sometimes. I feel like I'm a parent sometimes, and I don't really know what to make of it, but where I'm pushing this outside the comfort zone, which is, of course, how this whole class is organized, to get outside of that comfort zone. But I'm wondering what are some of the tricks, or what can we do, or what, maybe I just want to lament that fact that when we have so little time to experience something that is so different and people that are so different, and we may never get that opportunity as you get out into the world. And let me ask you this: how has a global mindset impacted you in positive ways?
I'm sure I would be a very different person, but I can tell you two examples, and hopefully they won't take too much time.
No, go for it. Yep.
In 1976, a long time ago, as a graduate student, I was a guest of the Soviet Academy of Geological Sciences because I was non-threatening for something that they wanted to learn about, because the academicians, the head of these groups, didn't agree with what things the U.S. was studying. And there was a geologist there at Moscow State University, and the faculty lived there, and the students lived there, and the staff lived there. And I went there because this professor had these fantastic atlas of the Soviet Union I really wanted. And so I went with the vice chair of the Soviet Academy of Geological Sciences to the desk to go into Moscow University, and he refused. Your name is not on the list, you can't come in. And the vice chair argues, no, he can't. His name is not on the list. The professor came down from the tower and talked to the guard, and the guard said, no, I'm sorry, he is not on the list, he cannot enter. And so the professor threw up his hands, and he walked out, and he said to me, there is another entrance. And I thought, okay, we'll try a different guard. We're walking around this building, and he says, your coat fits too well. You take my trench coat, I'll take your coat. You can't have a camera, I'll have a camera. And it started to dawn on me we were going to sneak into the university. And so we're going up the steps of this skyscraper, and the guard is ahead, and he turns to me and he goes, now look, Russian. And we walked right by the guard. We didn't check anything, walked to the elevator, went upstairs, and I spent the whole day working with this professor. And I left going, oh my God, professors are the same all over the world.
Right.
They'll break a rule for their science.
Right.
They'll ignore their institution in order to do the thing that they love and their scholarship and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And you have these moments where all of a sudden
Yeah.
you realize that I had the Soviets way out here.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's the only time I've ever gotten on a plane where people flew back from Russia to London and everybody cheered. Everybody cheered. I'd never been on that. So incredibly different.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
one other
Hey,
one.
by the way, you should know, your president's actually a very well-known geoscientist, by the way. He's not just a guy in a suit who sits in an office. He's actually very much a scholar,
So I had one other where I was doing a review of King Fahd University in Saudi Arabia. And it's all male. That in itself was really sort of remarkable, never to see a woman the whole time on the university. And I was in a hotel, and I'd come every day, and I would go to classrooms and labs and doing my assessment because they wanted to know how the university stood. And the professor, when I came in on the I think it might have been the third morning, he said to me, so how is the food in the hotel? And I said, I don't know. He said, what do you mean you don't know? And I said, well, I walk into town and go get food. This is what I do everywhere in the world. I got to go into town and see what's there. Well, he was petrified that I was going to create an incident of some type because I did not know the customs and the rules. And I will tell you, there are many, many times I've been embarrassed that I didn't think about all these things ahead of time. But at least this guy was really nice and said, so you want Saudi food, I'm going to take you out to a restaurant on the coast, and you can experience a real Saudi restaurant. So I thought, okay, this is fantastic. I went with a group of deans, equivalent of a vice president, and we were early, and we couldn't go into the restaurant yet, and he goes, look, there's a radical. So I looked to say, what about this person made him a radical? Maybe I need to understand this. And so he gave me a description, and he said, you Americans don't understand. You think that man hates you, but he just hates. And he would hate me if I were different than him in my religion, in the detail of it, just like he would hate you. What a profound moment when you think about that contrast. And never would, and maybe that's an embarrassment on my part, but never would I have thought of that the way I did without being in a country where we worry about our relationships and the topic of terrorism, and he reminded me of something that perhaps as a person I should have known from the beginning. But at any rate, I don't know, those two just popped in my head.
Yeah, that's good. And you, without that, how would you be able to do your job today? How well, or how does that play into your ability to do your job successfully today?
Well, so for example, with neo-Nazis, white supremacists, many other things, this campus has things that are posted. They come in the middle of the night, or you see social media posts, and people are uncomfortable and they start to feel vulnerable and constantly say, what are you going to do about it? Can you stop that? And of course I can't. And with free speech issues and things like that, we'll say if it's on a public bulletin board, I got to leave that there. If it covers something else, I can take it away because you've interrupted somebody else's free speech. If you put it in the wrong spot, I can remove it. But otherwise, that truly ugly thing has to sit there. We have students that are demonstrating, and they are being approached by someone deliberately baiting them. Because when the police come, they assume that whoever made the call is the person threatened. So they bait the student, and as soon as they successfully bait the student, they call the police, and that person is taken away while the person that was actually involved in this activity. Okay, well now I've gotten this in my head that I'm stuck with people that hate. They're going to be there. Nothing in that, we might submerge them sometimes, but in this society, in every society, there will be people that hate. What I have to do is give students the tools to be able to manage it, to push back, to not let themselves be baited, to know who to call, to understand what some of those signals are, to understand that. And so Penn State right now has under review a toolkit, essentially, how to help people deal with people that unfortunately are like that guy walking in that coastal town of Saudi Arabia, but the only difference is this is an American that might live in the town that you're going to school in.
And that's what we're doing here at a place like Penn State.
So that's an example of how that, and I might not have thought that I'm stuck with this, as opposed to thinking that I could fix it. If I wasn't forced to think about that in other countries where I didn't anticipate it.
Throughout your career.
Throughout my career.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I just came back from St. Petersburg. Lori and I did. And wow, just the turning my head around in circles process was really quite wonderful and essential. Yeah, absolutely essential. Well, I know you have another engagement at 5 o'clock.
That's always true.
Yeah, that's always
it's
true.
Sad,
Yeah.
but it's always true. Thanks
I have to
for having
schedule
me.
this guy years in advance, you know. Listen, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Wait, here's your umbrella.
And there's more umbrellas around the
Indeed. Someone's got to catch a selfie with him on his way up, by the way. Someone's sitting in the aisle. Come on. Hey, so we're going to go in a... There you are. Listen, yeah, thanks, Mr. President. We will talk. All right. Hey, so let's we're gonna go in a slightly. I need two people who are really, really involved in THON. Or like the hot. Anybody? Any of the overalls?
Yo, Sam.
Dude.
To your right.
Wait, are you one? You're one? Are you an overall? No, oh, you're captain's way. Hang on.
Yo, over there.
Dude, are you an overall? Captain. No overalls? How long have you been in THON? Wait, I'm gonna use you. Yeah, you'll be good. But I also need a guy too. Are you? Yes, captain. Captain? Nobody's hired. Wait, are captains? Wait, is anyone higher? Who's higher than a captain?
There's only 12.
Are there any directors? What's that? Are there no directors in here? Okay, give me a captain, dude. I'm gonna take you. You have a Penn State shirt on too, so. All right. So hang on. We're gonna put you here. I'm gonna move your chair over here. Actually, I realize. Okay. Ooh, wait, we should do, why don't we flip it so we can use that camera, and then we'll put it, can we flip? Dude. Wait, David. Wait.
Amber. Yeah.
Okay. Here, wait. We're gonna move your chairs on that side, though, because I want you to be here, dude. Just like that, right there. Okay. So class can sort of see you. All right. Have a seat. So here's the deal. I'm gonna. Do what nobody ever does, and I'm actually gonna go after THON. I know. Can you believe it, dude? Can you believe it? Yeah. Oh, is he really gonna do that? Yeah, he is. Yep. Because if we can talk about hazing, we can talk about THON, and why not do it all in the same class? Are you in a fraternity also, by the way? No. You're in a sorority, right? You're not in a sorority, Doug. God, I feel so bad because Amber and I. Wait, just say who you are first.
I'm David.
David, I'll remember him because you have a name tag on, bro. Yes. I'll remember Amber too. Amber and I had a long conversation in my office the other day. I don't even remember, so I don't. For you, I just don't remember. I didn't remember. All right, so listen, here's the deal. I remember everything she said. I just names. I don't get names. Okay, here's the deal. I'm not technically going after THON, okay? But what I'm going to do is talk about unintended consequences of good actions. I love THON. I really like THON. I like THON for reasons that many people probably don't. For me, the idea that Penn State student, the largest student-run philanthropy, the fact that we're raising money for children with cancer, that's, come on. You could be just drinking beer and crawling around in a basement of a sewage and bottle caps, you know what I mean? But you're not. You're doing this really amazing stuff. But actually raising money for kids with cancer is actually what I think personally as a sociologist, a fairly small part of THON. Because the truth is, one way to look at this, that I look at it, that I think is really, really important, why I've always been a big fan of THON, is that the best predictor of one's willingness and likelihood of engaging other human beings and volunteering time and doing kind and nice things for other human beings, reaching out, is past experiences of doing those things. So the fact that the THON raises over $10 million a year to help discover cures for childhood cancer and work with families and so on, right, is actually $10 million is actually probably pretty small relative to all of the students for whom THON is actually a jumping off point for them to go off and do other really cool things in lots of other organizations, and not involving children, maybe involving something else, right? So you see that. So THON is actually it's a laboratory, it's like a springboard for other things. So that to me is way bigger than THON, because I think if we could actually tally up all of the implications of the good deeds that have come out of the fact that people first really got involved in something at THON here at Penn State, if we could tally those up, I have a feeling they'd be really large. That said, there's one particular piece of THON that I'm going to look at, and I want to challenge you on. And I want to challenge all of us on, but just you all, right? And the reason I want to do this is because I've seen the consequences of this firsthand, and I thought, you all could take THON to another level. I've been talking about this for 5 years. You could take THON to another level, and nobody ever has. And I'm like, why don't you do that? You can purchase a t-shirt like that for a few dollars. Like that. That one probably didn't cost a few dollars, because that looks like a different kind of t-shirt. But how is it? Have you ever asked yourself that question? How can you, your undershirt, by the way, you could probably purchase that for $2. How? How much have you thought about that? Do you think about it? Go ahead.
Sometimes. I don't personally think about it every time I put on a shirt, but I guess when you think about the prices and where they come from, obviously It isn't
Hold the
gonna
mic
be-
close.
Oh, sorry.
When you go like to Walmart or TJ Maxx or something like that. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I necessarily think about the price of things when I'm buying them, aside from the fact that I'm going for the cheapest item.
You go for the cheapest item?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Okay, so, thank you for that. You just gave me a gift.
I know that was
You
going to
know where we're
segue you
going.
into something.
Okay, so here, let's talk. Go to the next slide. So, what I want to say here is that, so children in cotton production. What do you know about children in cotton production? What do you know about cotton production? Anything?
Not much.
What do y'all, think about what you know about cotton production. How much do you know? What do you know? Right? So here, just in India, India is only one. There are more slaves. India has more slaves as a single country. India has more slaves than any other country in the world, right? How many child slaves in India picking cotton? Any numbers? Any idea? Any ideas how much it could be? How many child slaves, child workers picking in India? Any sense of that? Anybody? Cotton. Most t-shirts are made of cotton, right? Okay. By the way, you're on the hot seat, but you're not really on the hot seat because we're going to explore this. So this is cool. Okay? So a lot. Okay, there are estimates that as many as between 100,000 child slaves in India working in the cotton fields and 500,000 child slaves in India working in the cotton fields. Okay, that's just one area. Okay, so one. We're not going anywhere else. Okay, India produces 20% of all the cotton in the world. So we know for sure. You remember the chocolate piece? We know for sure that child slaves are picking that T-shirt you have. Probably cost you $2. The way it goes is from India. There's cotton in here from India. And if there's cotton in here, there are fibers that were picked by child slaves. Okay? Your shirt's a little different because that doesn't look like a cotton shirt. But, okay, cool? You got that? Not cool. But this is where we're going. All right. So, if you're working as a slave, if you're working as a child laborer in the fields or even adult laborers in the fields in India, you're going to work 10, 12, 15, up to 16 hours a day. Difficult work, right? Nobody wants it. And the cotton industry is $9 billion in India. So this is a really important part of the Indian economy. Those of you who are Indian in here, you know that. All right? So let's go to the next slide. Insecticides and pesticides. 2.4% of all planted land, cropland in the world, all land that is planted with crops, 2.4% is planted with cotton. Okay? Most clothing has cotton in it. I mean, this is the nature of it, right? 24% of the global sales of pesticides are sprayed onto cotton crops. 11% of all the global sales of global pesticides that are in use, or insecticides, are sprayed onto cotton crops. So what's that mean? Can you say, when I say that, what's that mean?
A very large part of the industry.
Okay, what else?
You mean that the insecticides are sprayed on all the cotton? Yeah, I guess just...
Working with it all day, proximity of these harsh chemicals.
Closer proximity than adults, maybe? Cotton's about this high. So if kids are shorter, they're going to be breathing it in directly. So here's some Indian men spraying pesticides. Okay? So everyone, you see that? Next slide. This is USDA, US regulation, insecticide, regularly on the cotton crops. That's what you have to do. That's how dangerous these chemicals are. So go back one. So here are these guys. These aren't children spraying. I don't have photos of children spraying. I could get them though. So here we go. And then go forward. This is recommended. Look at the mask that this guy is using. Okay? Look at the mask that he's using. Here, go to the next slide. Here's a woman picking cotton in a crop that had recently been sprayed. That's how she's protecting herself. Go back a slide. That's how they're protecting themselves. If she were working in the United States, her employer would be fired for not protecting her like that. So there she is. So you get it, right? Okay. How many children do you think die every year from pesticide, from poisoning, from cotton, from pesticides and insecticides? How many do you think die every year?
Well, given that you had said over 100,000 are estimated to be doing this labor.
In just slave labor?
Yeah.
100 to 500,000.
So it would definitely be in the thousands, I'm guessing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd also guess in the thousands, maybe like 5,000.
Okay. So the estimate is the minimum of 200,000. People die every year, not children, so people, okay? The World Health Organization, the UN. And so here are some young girls pulled out of school, picking cotton. The little girl on the bottom right's from Uzbekistan. I'll talk about that in a second. The little girl on the top left, right? It's pretty big. So that's just who die. Millions of people are poisoned from pesticides and insecticides. And again, they disproportionately go on cotton crops. Okay? So here, next slide, here's a photo of children in a cancer clinic in India. They look like children, THON children, right? I mean, they look like THON children. These aren't children necessarily that have been experienced cancer because of pesticides and insecticides, right? But those who have look just like them. And they don't look any different than the children that we see that are connected to our organization. So, so real fast. I have more, but okay, go ahead. What are you thinking?
Just like seeing pictures like that, like just remind me like why we want to like fight to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of hard to raise money for every kind of thing, and we unfortunately don't have the resources to expand past that. So as much as I'd love to help, it's just like it's not feasible at this moment for us.
Mm-hmm. So what if the issue isn't raising money for them, though? There are other connections to make, right? What are these other connections that I'm suggesting we could make?
I guess spread awareness of it.
Of what? What's it?
I guess buying cheap clothing, watching where it's coming from.
Well, so you said, for example, I buy the least expensive shirts, right? Clothing.
Least expensive anything.
Anything. So you're going to buy the least expensive cotton shirts. The least expensive cotton shirts probably have the greatest amount of pesticides, right? Because you're not going to get organic cotton shirts, right? So you're going to have a lot of pesticides. That means that you're unless you buy an organic cotton shirt that's slave-free and pesticide-free, that kind of stuff, right? Then that means that you're buying clothes that have been picked in places like India, cotton's been picked in places like India, turned into fabric in places like India, using child labor, including slave labor, in places like India. Right. And where children are dying from pesticide poisoning, not to mention long hours working in the fields. And so there's a really odd way in which you're buying the cheapest thing. You know, I don't have to say it. It's just like, what? And I think I can say this because you understand, I'm not different. We're all here, we're all together, right? I don't separate myself out and say, I'm somehow special that I don't do this. I'm not part of this. I am part of it. So we're all part of it. So I'm going. So it's just like really, right? Like here we are buying clothes that, what? It's like causing the very thing we're trying to stop, right? We'll keep going. Next slide. So sweatshop labor, right? The clothes are getting made, not by people getting a fair wage, right? So here's children. The number of people in sweatshops making clothes, right? How do you get a $2 shirt, bro, right? You get it because someone's making it for pennies. And they're making it for pennies because either A, they're getting paid pennies, and B, why are they getting paid pennies? Because somehow they're forced into this position. So we have more slaves in the world today than at any point in human history. So lots of slave labor, making lots of things, but fabrics and clothing and textile is one very important thing. So here's a guy. Who sews in here? Does anybody sew? Here. So you sew? So how would it be, what's your name? Wait, Miriam? How would it be, look at the boy right there. How would it be to be him and hunched over a sewing machine for 15 hours a day? How would you do hunched over a sewing machine for 15 hours a day doing the same repetitive motion?
Well, to relate it back to students, it's like being in front of the computer all day. And now, obviously not as harmful on your eyes, but it's kind of dangerous because you can get your fingers caught in the needle. Like I've had needles go through my finger, and it can be pretty dangerous, but then it's really bad for your back and your neck.
And so imagine you as a child, when you were 10 years old, you did that for 5 years every day.
Yeah, well, I know they use children because their fingers are smaller.
Yep.
It's similar to how factories work here. They use their tiny little fingers to mess with the threads and the mechanism.
Okay. So really tough, right? Go to the next slide, bro. Thanks, by the way. So here we go. Here's a sweatshop. Look at that. Every day, day after day. Maybe you make $2 a day, $3 a day, $4 a day. Maybe you don't have a choice. You're there. Sometimes it's slavery. Sometimes it's coerced. Sometimes you're just there. You can't get out of it. You're in. It's what you're going to do, right? And you're going to be making these products. And it's just day after day after day. And they just keep coming through. And like, oh my gosh. And meanwhile, I'm back going to TJ Maxx. And I'm saying, hey, this shirt that I really liked last week, it's like it was $15, it's now $4 because they're getting rid of it, and they're still making a profit from it. And I'm like, okay, this is great. Life is good. So next one, bro. Forced slavery in Uzbekistan. You know, about when the cotton crop comes in Uzbekistan, about 1 million people, the allegation is that 1 million people are forced to go and pick cotton. Uzbekistan, the 5th largest producer of cotton in the world, right? So here's this slavery built into it, which means that I have cotton in this shirt. Well, this shirt doesn't. This is fair trade, and this shirt is fair trade, but these pants aren't, so there's cotton in these pants. So like, okay, some come from Uzbekistan, right? It's like, oh my God. So here's my question to all of you. Given where we're at, by buying the cheapest cotton that we can, how we're supporting A, an industry that exploits people, B, an industry that poisons people, in particular children, right? Lots of children. C, that exploits people who are sewing and making shirts and so on, especially children, because sweatshop labor is ever present all around the world. Go to the next slide. When I look at that photo and I see all those shirts in it, all these shirts, all inexpensive, right? Because it's part of THON, right? You don't buy the most expensive shirt when you're going to wear it one day. You buy the least expensive one because that's more money that you have to contribute to THON, right? If in my team or my group or my student organization, we buy $5 shirts instead of $10 shirts, then the extra $5 can go toward the overall $10 million or whatever we're raising for THON, which is a really good thing. But when I see that, what I see is sweatshop labor, pesticides, childhood cancer. I don't know how much. I don't know how much cancer. Like, I don't know, right? Not childhood cancer there. Childhood cancer in other countries, right? And my question becomes, it's really ironic. Although, as you said, right, you can't do things for every country in the world, right? But it's really ironic that we raise money for these children in a way by supporting a system that exploits these children. And I'm wondering how it could be different. So, go ahead. What are you thinking?
Well, I know personally I never really thought of that. And I feel like a lot of people in this room probably haven't even thought of it in that perspective.
Well, hang on. Let's ask. Has anybody ever thought of this before? A couple Indian guys and a white guy. Dude, you sit with these guys. You're adopted Indian. Okay. Okay, never thought of it before. Yep. By the way, that's why we're in this together, right? I'm not holier than thou. We're in this together. This is a teaching moment. Go ahead.
So I'm not saying, I just don't think it's necessary to put it in a negative light. Like we are still doing what we can in this organization. Maybe making it more clear that we are buying fair trade shirts for future, but the problem is, it's the unfortunate truth that costs are going up and people want to pay less. That's just how it is. Everyone, especially us as college students, we don't have money to be throwing random places like this. We want to buy the cheapest. So if there's a way that we can kind of find an organization that'll make fair trade shirts for us that aren't like exorbitant amounts of money, then maybe we could go about it that way.
Okay, that's a nice response. That's a response by probably most people in the room would agree with, and probably most people are shaking their heads. What I want you to do is say, I don't like that response. Come up with an outside the box response. Come up with a what if response.
Like, what if what?
What if we could do all of the things that he just said?
If we could, then we would, I think.
Really?
In my opinion, if we could do more than what we're already doing, absolutely we would do that, without a doubt.
So I'm here to tell you you could.
If
You are the largest student-run philanthropy in the world. You have so much power. It doesn't matter that Penn State signs on the dotted line with Nike. If all you students came together, whoever Penn State signs their contracts with, if all you students came together and said, listen, y'all, you are going to start making fair trade shirts. We are going to do this. And we're in THON, this is just what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to operate. And we're going to make it happen. And yes, we are going to bring costs down. We're the largest student group in the world. It's like, we're going to make it happen. It's not going to happen overnight, but we could do this. So you could do it. You know you could do it. Right? You have the power to do it. Can you go back to the children? There's something deeply strained and deeply troubling that there are children in other countries that are going to get cancer because of the pesticide use. To make the t-shirts for THON students to raise money to fight childhood cancer. Like, somehow for me, I understand, bro. I understand what you just said, but somehow it just feels like for THON to go to the next level, it's going to have to address this, and you could do it. And who am I? Like, why do I have the cojones, or who the hell do I think I am to tell a bunch of students that you all could go to this next level? And I've been saying it for 5 years, and damn it, no one ever listens to me, but you could go there, which is one of the reasons I chose you, because, like, I know your mind. Like, go there. Just make it happen. And so what if you spent a little bit more money on slave-free shirts, but you got the world to turn their attention to THON, saying no. Slavery of children, sweatshops of children, pesticide use killing children is not an acceptable thing. And that was your message to the world, right? Like, imagine all the media attention you could get for that, because you're taking it to the next level. Yeah, you pay a little more. So what? So next year you raise $9.5 million instead of $10.5. But think of the movement you could start.
I personally think that would be a great initiative. Like, I would love to kind of stand behind that. I'm sure everyone else would.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't disagree with that. And I think that if there's enough people behind it, it's something that we can make happen. So with you, Sam, like, with the times that you've done this, you said you've done this before, like you've talked to people, like how invested have you gotten into this? Like how, like aside from just talking once to them, have you like done any follow-up? Because I mean, as far as with me, like working with the people that I've worked in the THON community, like it's a very beautiful thing to be surrounded by people with like such good intentions all the time.
Totally.
And I think that there's a lot of people who have that mindset to like motivate a change.
Totally.
And so like I think that is a great idea, and I think David and I both agree that that's definitely something that's really great. But like
go to the next step.
From your end, like what have you done to like continue on with that?
I think what I have done is, when people have come back to me, like say you two, is point you into the direction of people who are the scholars of this, because I'm not the scholars of this stuff. That's not what I do, right? Go in that direction. There's a student organization here of students against sweatshops who are moving forward on these issues. And they have events, and like a bunch of leftist liberal students come out to their events, and I'm like, okay, what about all the others, that sort of thing. So my job is not to be the leader. My job is just put student groups together. Is there anyone in here who's involved in the student sweatshop movement? Anybody? Does anyone know anyone involved in it? Are they still active? Is the student organization still active? For a while they were really active. So look, this is the thing, right? I think that what I think it takes is a small group of people inside of the organization, because THON works. Because THON, rules and regs is not, it's all of THON. I mean, it's an amazing machine. It's an amazing machine, and it's very impressive. Because, dude, I was around when, on Friday nights, THON was in the White Building gym. And I it was in the White Building gym. And I remember going like on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. And it was me and my wife and about 20 other people sitting in the bleachers. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool, right? That's what THON was. That's when I started here. That's what it was. So, it's a machine. So if enough people but the machine, this is what President Barron is saying about and what we were saying about groupthink. It's like you just start doing it, and you follow, and you follow, and you follow, and you're just doing what all your other friends are saying. It's like, yeah, we got to drink, we have to do this. So you just do it. But somebody inside has this, hang on, put the brakes on, boom. Start right here. Let's just look at what would it cost us to get fair trade shirts. Right? Like this shirt. One of the students a few semesters ago, he has a t-shirt company here, and we said, we just bought shirts. Dude, the Stream Team shirt. See this shirt right here? This is fair trade shirt we just bought. So all our shirts here are fair trade. Someone did a Haiti project. Look at that, by the way. Look at that. It says love, and that is in the shape of Haiti. Can you see that? That's the country of Haiti. That's awesome. This dude designed it, one of the students, right? So I bought one. But it would take that. Yeah, and by the way, I don't hear you challenging me at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't hear that. I hear you saying, okay.
Yeah. No, I you know me, I'm not afraid to reach out to people. So if you help me get into contact with this organization, I'm very willing to talk to them about
it. And if they're here, and if they're moribund, if they're like kind of dead in the water right now, because that's how student orgs are, then you start one inside a THON. Yeah. You start a committee that says, hey, we got to look at these issues. Talk to experts. I'm not the expert. I'm lowballing all the numbers, actually, because I don't want people coming back to me and saying, this guy's full of shit, more than they do, and more than I am, actually. Anything else you want to say? Just anything anybody else want to say?
I have something else to say.
Go ahead.
I think that it's important to note, like with all of this, that none of that is done intentionally, and I think that was shown, like by the lack of raise of hands by people like saying that they haven't thought of this. So like, thank you. I do appreciate you like calling attention to it, and although like looking at that and saying that like we're exploiting one group to help another is kind of a glass half empty kind of way of looking at it, I think that the bigger picture is looking at ways that we can make a change.
Yeah, but let me be clear about this. Listen to this, right? I don't think I used the words you're exploiting one group because I don't see it that way. I think you're doing amazing work. The unintended consequences in doing this stuff, right? It can have this other impact. Not on everybody, right? But there's this other impact that you all could do something about and bring attention to. So yeah, so I don't think that it's exploiting one group, for sure. And I don't think you can help everybody. It's like, come on, man, it's like topics in here. People say like, why don't you talk about this? Or I'm like, cause I can't talk about everything. Like, my God, we can't help everybody. Please give us a break. Who else has Jeff, did you yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Hi, I have a question. So I see that THON is supposed to be helping children, but how valid is that help if we have the blood of other children on our hands?
Well,
how
listen,
valid?
Yeah, here, this is how it is, right? Because look, for example, you ready?
Yeah.
Everything you do has an unintended consequence, okay? So when you drive your car down the road and you run over a small animal, you have an unintended consequence, right? When you give one medicine to a child, thinking that you're going to help the child, and you do help the child, but the medicine has an unintended consequence to have this other thing. That's what it is. That's life. And like President Barron was saying, what I would say, there are always unintended consequences to life. You just live with it. That's how valid it is. THON, none of this undermines the validity of THON. Like, THON's doing something like, come on, man. Not only that, but remember the idea, what I said was, hang on. What I said was THON, it's not just THON, it's all the cool stuff. It's like the two of you and everybody else, all the cool stuff you'll do afterwards, right? Yes, ma'am. You're a THON person too, right?
Yeah, I'm a captain with Amber.
Captain, all right, cool.
This is really, okay. This is really minor, but all of the quarter zips that we wear for THON are not made by child laborers, so.
All the what?
The sweatshirts, the quarter zips that all the captains and THON chairs have.
Cool.
So
okay, cool.
Just throwing that out there.
No, this is good though. Dude, do you advertise? You should advertise that. You see, so I'm giving you a reason why.
I'm not part of that, the merchandise committee. But
okay, but who, the purchasing committee, right?
Merchandise.
Okay, what is it?
Merchandise.
Merchandise, right. So the merchandise committee, what I'm suggesting is advertise that. Put that out there. Like, be a leader on this. Dude, I have been to, look, y'all, as when the president was talking about being in the Soviet Union back in the day, being in Saudi, I've been in sweatshops. Yeah. I have walked through sweatshops watching children and men and women over their machines like this, making nothing to try to feed their families, then going home and seeing where they live and watching what they're doing, right? So it's like, you should advertise that. That's a really good thing because it puts attention onto it. Yeah. So that's cool. Thanks for saying that.
So, real quick, this past year, I was fortunate to work on public relations, and we're always, I'm right up here.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's me again, sorry.
All right, go ahead. I forgot you existed, bro. All right.
So this past year, I was fortunate to work on public relations, and I definitely see this being a really good kind of point to stand behind and whatnot. But the key for something like this to move is to have the following base to like help push it along. So as long as everyone else is on board for it, I foresee this being a great opportunity.
Okay, let me help you on that. Okay. This will be my final comment. I just had a really interesting conversation with some ROTC cadets about this, about leadership. Great leaders lead. The base will follow. When your cause is good and you're doing something really well and they're learning and they're growing, people will follow. People want to do the right thing. Nobody's going to say, screw those kids over there, this is about our children. Nobody says that. Nobody thinks that. So you don't. Just go. Go. Okay. You got me behind. All right. Yo, thanks for coming up, by the way. Yeah. Listen, those of you who are traveling this weekend, don't forget you have assignments due Sunday night. You killed it on the quiz. Second quiz, 28 out of 30 was the median.